How are you, gang? Just a couple of things I wanted to share with you. We're heading off, as in Linda and I, we're heading off overseas on Tuesday for about 10 or 12 days. So there's a bunch of things happening at the moment. So I just wanted to share these with you. And I was trying to do this in one video, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So just want to share this one with you first. This is from Knowledge Base in Work, etc. And what we did recently when I was in the Philippines with Febby is really go through and review all of our procedures and add new procedures, and particularly for setting up events. Because you've got like a public program, a Crucial Conversations public program, or you've got a client internal program, or it could be an international if we're doing something for GE as Jerry's doing next month. So there's a number of different, and there's also our special marketing events which we do in February, May and August. So for all those, there's a number of things that have to be done just outside just booking in the actual dates into Work, etc. And so if you look at and take the opportunity when you can to have a look at, you look here, you can see documents and Knowledge Base in Work, etc. In here, all the procedures, and we're adding to these all the time. And as Grant said the other day, when you look at some of the procedures, they'll always be updated. There'll always be things we'll be adding on and refining too. So can I get you to, just when you can, take the opportunity to look at it? And when you look at things like, for example, let me just open this one for you. This is a procedure. We call it a CCPP, and that's what the terminology that Febby knows. And by the way, if you do look in here, what you'll see is VS ANZ terminology. And this has mainly been done, obviously, for Febby, but you can see through here, CC, CC1, CCV, CC2, CC3, CC4, which is coming, CA, CCPP, etc., etc. So there's all the terminology in there if you want to refer to it. But if I come back to the procedure now here for Crucial Conversations, this still needs some things added to it, but we've been working on this, and everyone knows, those that contributed recently, we've been adding to this just recently and getting it as, I think, as specific as possible. And the reason we've done this is in previous events I've always forgotten something. I've forgotten to order something or do something. So the easiest way to do it then is not only procedurize it, but make sure I do the bits that I remember, and get everyone's help to do the other things, whether it be the trainer or Wendy or Jerry or whatever it is. So when you look through these steps in here, I think even with a public program now, you can see this is the procedure for public programs, whether it be a CCPP or a CC2 PP for Crucial Accountability, or an influencer public program. Then you can see there's so many steps in here. This is why these days I don't book anything into Eventbrite. That's now Febby's role entirely, to book things into Eventbrite. And the reason I don't do it is that if I book something in and you can see all these steps in here, and with the new procedure I think there's like 15 steps, then what happens is I'll miss some of these, and what will happen is we won't order something, or we'll forget to bill if it's not a public program, but it's an internal program, or something will get forgotten. So this way, if I get Febby, for example, to book in dates for a public program, then not only will she do that, but she'll document this whole thing into like a little project, and she'll send out reminders every day that everything needs to happen. So that way we've got someone who's got their eye on every step, and that way, like the most recent event, I forgot to order the books, and we got the books sorted, but it was a bit shabby. So by using this process in here and getting Febby to drive it, that means that we hopefully won't forget anything. So that's the one in there for public programs. If you look through in here, there's things like if we're going to cancel an event, that's a bit like Febby's role. These are phone prefixes so that Febby knows when she's looking up new contacts. That helps her to find out whether they're Australian, New Zealand, what state they're in, and maybe how they should be tagged. Procedure for internal program, procedure for international program, procedure for special events. This is our new one we're working on now called Roles and Accountability. So basically who's responsible for what within 717, and I think that covers everyone including master trainers. Time zones, which again is because we cover 4 time zones through Australia and New Zealand, which ones to book them in if, say for example, Febby's booking, like a public program in Adelaide or Perth or somewhere like that. Okay, and also things like our procedure for setting up webinars, and more recently, because we're starting to use Adobe Connect, there's one in there as well for the procedure to set up Adobe Connect. So take the opportunity when you can to have a look through all those, and again, they are in there so that when you are involved in a public program, you can click on this procedure and it'll show you clearly, and if you like we can do them in a different color, the ones that you are responsible for as part of delivering a public program. So hopefully that's helpful, and I think the better, the more we get specific, we don't want to become too bureaucratic, but what we want to be able to do is really become streamlined and systematic, so that every time we deliver a public program, it just runs like silk, and the right people turn up, and we get the job done in our public programs as well. So have a look at that when you can. I'll do the rest of the recording on another little device just about some other things that are happening at the moment, and we'll talk to you soon, gang. Have a great weekend.